What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're living like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow I wanna know all about you. Deep connection lights a spark. Like you already know me when we dance in the dark. We're dreamers. We're living like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. Oh, we come alive. We come alive. Oh, we come alive. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive.
Finding the strength deep inside. Shane and Melissa takes us on this ride from suffering to a life so free. Her healing touch, she'll set you free with a heart so pure and full of love. She's the nurse that fits you like a glove. Holistic healing, her expertise, she'll bring you back to a state of peace. She'll bring you back to a state of peace.
I've been waiting all my life for someone like you, like you. I would watch the days go by, wasted and blue. I was out of use. Now every day, every night, every moment with you, I'm walking on air. And every day, every way, I feel I can't lose. I wanna shout it out.
The strength deep inside. Shane and Melissa takes us on this ride her touch. She'll set you free.
Oh, wow. I was thinking, fine wine improves with age, right? Well, so can you. What if we can slow down our aging? Because aging equals more disease, right? And if we can slow down the aging, perhaps we can slow down disease. And what if we can even reverse aging? We could possibly reverse disease. Today, I want to share with you a very special guest. Between the two of us, we have near a century of knowledge and expertise. He's an international fitness and bodybuilding pro, and also the over 50 bodybuilding and welterweight champion. But first, for those of you that don't know me, I am Shana Melissa Stockman, the world wellness expert and the autoimmune expert who empowers mostly ladies and corporate America that are suffering from symptoms like waking up tired, pain, fatigue, brain fog, to and other autoimmune disorders, medical mysteries, problems since the mandate, and the protection and infection to get and feel better when their doctors and medicines don't. Mostly the autoimmune warriors, the medical mysteries, problems since the vaccine, the protection and infection. I offer inline and on person classes, courses, workshops, book signings, and video consultations. But I would like to introduce to you right now our very, very special guest, Mr. Arman Eckelbarger. Woo! He has over 40 years, even though he looks a lot younger than that, in the health and fitness industry. Armin Eckelbarger has dedicated his career to helping individuals and organizations optimize health, longevity, and performance. As a certified longevity coach from the Spencer Institute and a certified personal trainer of NESTA, he has personally coached thousands of clients, including high level execs, business owners, corporate teams on their journey to better health. Armin's achievements include International Fitness and Bodybuilding Federation pro status, which is huge. And he's also become the 2019 and 2020 NPC Master Nationals over 50 bodybuilding welterweight class champion. Um, he is the founder of Elite Exec Methods, Health Partners online program and app, a cutting edge platform designed to help clients take control of their health with science backed strategies. He's also a very well respected speaker. His expertise spans from age management, nutrition, supplementation, recovery, and hormone optimization. By combining decades of experience with the latest advancements in health and longevity, Armin equips his clients with tools to extend their lifespan, enhance their vitality, and stay on top of the game both professionally and personally. I love, 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 love your bio and your expertise. We have so much in common. Thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
Oh, great. And it's really an honor to be on the show. Appreciate it. And hope we can give some people some takeaways today to give them some, real benefits. So,
Oh, yes. And I want to congratulate you for not only your pro bodybuilding status, but for doing it without excessive juicing. And, like a lot of the others try to cheat their way to the champion status, and you did not do that. So, congratulations for that.
oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm
And
in, I'm in
can
it
we
for the long run. That's why. I'm in it for the long run. That's why. So,
Yes, that you're very, very, very wise because I would have patients come in the office who were juicing and the things that we would see not only acne and temper tantrums and breast development, but huge cysts on their hairy shaven buttocks and other things that increase risk of cancers. I think especially prostate cancer and other things. So you were very wise to realize that this is not a sprint but a marathon. So kudos to you. High five.
but
Yeah. And can you share with us some pro tips that helped you along the way? Like maybe if you were to talk to your younger self 20 years ago, what advice would you give yourself?
well, nutrition as time goes by is basically critical for anything you're going to do. Nutrition can either be poison or it can be medicine. And if you approach it the right way, you'll get the benefits of it being a very healing situation. I had to learn that a lot of different ways. Like in the beginning, I was following what everybody else was doing with low fat, higher carbohydrate, and probably medium to high protein diet. And that can work, but at the same time, it doesn't address other things for putting on excess body fat, bloating, and then at the end of the day, you don't have enough fats in your diet, so you need fats to rebuild hormones, rebuild cells, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. And so there's and the other thing they don't realize is how insulin is affected by excessive carbohydrate intake and sugar intake. Those both will cause a lot of insulin spike. That's creates more inflammation, and it's just not productive for living longer and getting a better return and having constant quality energy throughout the day.
That's so true. A lot of people, they have to realize that there's certain foods we eat that we know might help us feel worse. But by the same token, there's other foods we can eat to help us feel better. So I like to call it the power of the plants and food pharmacy, FARM pharmacy, because there's natural anti-inflammatories and things like that. And that's important to know. We need our healthy fats. And, it's important not to just follow the masses, to follow someone like you that is actually educated and trained in this and has been there, done that, rather than somebody that hasn't been there and hasn't done that. So thank you for sharing that with us. And what other advice would you have for people that want pro bodybuilding status that could inspire them to keep up with the Joneses without having to do that excessive juicing?
Well, when it comes to, putting on muscle tissue, your fundamentals are going to be the nutrition. You do need some supplementation, and it just depends on your situation and what that would be. Because supplements do work, but you don't want to replace, you just want to supplement. And then you need to exercise to understand if you're going to put on muscle tissue, the mechanics that are involved. And a lot of people just go to the gym and they'll do straight sets, do a set of, they'll do a set like 10 reps and then wait and do another set of 10 reps, that kind of thing. And you'll get some result from that. But what happens is your body adapts to that pretty rapidly, and then you don't get much return from it. And people, they just keep doing the same old thing. And then the other thing is you have to make sure you get quality sleep. Sleep is when all the repairing and the rebuilding process is going to happen. And people tend to short circuit that. And if you have excess alcohol, that disrupts your sleep. So that doesn't help you with what you're trying to accomplish. And then finally, you need to optimize your hormones. So hormones
Mm,
are the messengers that tell your body how to operate. And then because they're secreted from soft tissue glands, as we age, they're going to slowly wear out. But you can speed up that process with lack of sleep, too much sugar, too much alcohol, and just not treating your body the right way. Your hormones will decline very rapidly. Plus, we have all kinds of other things like microplastics. You got glyphosate in the food system because of the Roundup and making the plants grow and stuff. I mean, there's just a lot of things that your body is trying to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And so,
mm.
if you don't know those and you just keep doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to age much more rapidly. And it's very obvious if you look around. Everybody you're looking around, you can just see they're out of shape, they're overweight, they have excess body fat, and they're probably not that happy with the situation. So but it can be fixed.
Yes, that's a good point. And I think there's a lot of people that work out there, they just do biceps, triceps the same one way. And I was working out, I'm going to date myself a little bit, since the 80s, the early 80s with Jacqueline, okay? And they used to have tanning beds in there. And instead of just like this, like one way, I would mix it up. I do this way, this way, this way, pull down, extensions, curls. So it's important to, like he says, muscle confusion, mix it up because your bodies will get to it and it won't respond to the same just flexion extension. So it's important to mix it up all different ways. And nutrition is very important. I think our hormones like this, our bodies were not meant to live to be 100 years old. So our internal organs are getting sick of producing and they're getting tired. And sometimes we have the power that we can actually fatigue them less to rev up their production. It's like we have these little sirtuins in our body, these little garbage men like Pac-Man. They gobble up the garbage and they're overwhelmed by too many toxins. So we're making their job a lot harder. They're not going to last as long. They're going to get fatigued quicker. There's things we can do, like Armin's saying, that could slow down the aging process. Like I know we can take supplements and they're good, but a lot of them are synthetic, man-made, our gastric acids, don't let them be absorbed. There's also ways that we can endogenously rev up production of our own good defenses from within, like our hormones, for instance. Mm.
Yeah, well, with hormones, again, what you need is to understand the fundamentals of it. But the first step with any process is you need to understand where the hormones are, and then that way you know where you got to correct. So an extensive lab panel is really the baseline. That's your critical element to understanding where you are physically, and how the hormones, if they're in optimal range or if they're in the low range. Every hormone has an optimal range. Now, an optimal range can be low or it can be high. So as an example for that, if a male, their testosterone can vary from 300 to 1100. You're still normal because you're in the range. But if you're at 300, are you feeling as good as you would at 800 or 900? Probably
Yes.
not. So what we want to understand is, okay, well, what can I do to improve my total testosterone? But then you also have free testosterone. And free
Mm.
testosterone is important because that's what your body can actually use. And so you need to know where that's at, because if it's low, that can be affected by other hormones like sex binding hormone globulins. It can be affected by estrogen. It impacts it. It's a process called aromatase. So these things can really take away from your energy and also take away from keeping your muscle tissue the way you'd like. So there's a lot of mechanics that need to be understood, and you need to make sure you get the right medical professionals that understand
Yes.
these things,
The
because
right one.
I
Yes.
mean, if
And
you go
that's a
ahead.
good point because with the hormones, a lot of people when they come to me with their lab results, they're not complete. Their doctor ordered like a simple TSH, didn't check for autoimmune antibodies and other things, and they're telling them they're normal, they're okay. And you and I know we get more involved with more extensive results than just the typical doctor number. And also the normal range, we have to look at it like this: it's a bell curve, right? They take 100 people, they throw them in there,
Yep.
and they call it normal range. But a lot of times, the lab might say their TSH is normal up to 4.5 or 5.5, depending on the lab. And they might be within that, but I know they have a thyroid issue. So it's important to know, even though your lab test is in with normal range, there's other testing that we can do to see that really the thyroid is not in normal range. I've had so many people come to me, they're saying their thyroid's normal. They have all the symptoms of Hashimoto's hypothyroid or autoimmune, and then when I go more extensive in the lab results, they do have it. And meanwhile, they were told you're normal, you're just getting older, you're working too much, your tests are okay. And time again, a lot of times it's an underlying, especially even autoimmune disorder, and they go to the regular endocrinologist who just treats a hormone and not autoimmune disorders. Hmm.
Yeah, and not all endocrinologists are the same. So you really got to do your homework on who you're going to work with and understand how they do their
Yeah.
practice. And that's where somebody like me, I have my own medical teams that are vetted, that I want to work with, that I understand what they're going to do, and we're kind of on the same page. And that's what's going to be important, because you know if you're going to help them to fix and solve the root cause of the problem, both people need to be on the same page and working together to solve the issue. Whether it's your lack of thyroid, or say somebody's estrogen's too high, with some strategies for that. I mean, it's just a whole mix of things. Like, a lot of guys don't ever check their DHT, dihydrotestosterone, and if it gets elevated, it causes hair loss, it causes the
Mhm.
prostate to enlarge, and they're not even aware of these things. Like, if a guy's going through hair loss, he needs to be getting the DHT level checked, because it can be fixed. There's different things you can do to improve the DHT level, and most guys don't have any idea about that.
Yes, and look at that. Guys, if you're watching us live, please drop us where you're watching from. We have the capabilities to stream it across the screen. If you have a question for Armin, drop it across the screen. If we see it in real time while we're live, we can actually answer it in real time. And that is time for Reclaim Your Life. So that's coming up. I just wanted to touch on it real quick. I'll tell you more at the end. Reclaim Your Life is a live super workshop, power hour, all in 1 hour. They can do it from the comfort of their couch. It's going to go into a lot more depth about what we're touching on today. There it is. You guys can scan the QR code. You can screenshot it if you're on your phone. you can go to worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. It's 226 at, it's February 26th. It's on Wednesday, 7 p.m. EST to 8 p.m. It is absolutely free, free, free this month for the viewers. It is Heart Health Awareness Month, so there is no cost to you or anything. If you want to level up to VIP, that includes an extra power hour of live Q&A, digital printable workbook, and a mini consultation with me. So I hope you guys join us there at worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. Claim your seat. All right, it popped up how to mention it. Back to us. All right, that's our sponsor for today. So, what else would you like to share? Like, I'd like to touch on more because there's probably more women viewing maybe today than men. I'm not sure. About the hormones and maybe thyroid hormone or the ladies' hormone. When we get older, our hair gets thinner. We know maybe our hormones are a little off too. What nugget would you have for us on that?
Well, for females, to me, so, depending on their age, it's always a factor. So that's why you want to have your, comprehensive hormone panel done. But as females get older, the progesterone tends to drop, and that causes them to lose energy, to have brain fog, and other things. So they need to be seen what the progesterone level is. Now, as you get older, it is going to drop, but you can take bioidentical hormones to help improve it if it gets too low. And the other thing that most people need to be checking is their estrogen levels. Okay, so estradiol is one that is a good marker. If it starts to get elevated, that's one of the markers of, can cause breast cancer. But you don't see many people doing these checks on this, and I think it's really important. So I think females should be getting they have a lot of different estrogens. I think females have like up to 35 different types of estrogens, but there's key estrogens that can be measured to see that everything's in balance. If the estrogen gets too low, then that's also another factor. But again, it can be fixed with bioidentical hormone replacement, and they're really
Mm,
simple. So same thing with testosterone. Females need testosterone too, which is helpful for bone density, to help reduce osteopenia, which leads to osteoporosis. But if you're not checking these things, then you're just assuming that they're where they need to be. And if you have any kind of a side effect of like your energy isn't good and your strength isn't good, that's something that can give you a lot of data. So I highly recommend it for any female having that checked.
and definitely. And I would say that, please, a lot of the traditional doctors are not doing complete lab results, everything that they need. So this way we can actually get to and attack the root cause. So a good set of labs that's in more depth that Arman or myself can do to get to the true underlying problem without just guessing. You need a great diagnostician to put all the pieces together, your specific laboratory results based on your history, your family history, your symptoms, and to put all that pieces together, because you know what, it might not just be estrogen. And it's important, please just don't go over the counter and pick up a bottle, because some of them have estrogen like substances that if you have an underlying breast cancer can actually seem to feed it. And then there's other over the counters that can actually create clots in someone that has a clotting tendency. So it's important to please reach out to a licensed healthcare professional, Armin or myself, to get a full set of laboratories, get to the root cause, and see what is specific for you, not a cookie cutter. Everyone with low estrogen gets this. I think that's very important.
Mm, yeah,
That was a
definitely.
mouthful. Yes. Yes, and it's important, even with the compounding pharmacies. Did you know, you might not realize this, most of the prescription hormone replacements are all made from a peanut derivative. They're capsules. So people might not even realize they have a peanut allergy. They go to their OBGYN for an HRT, they're given a capsule. And as far as last I looked, did the research, every single prescription HRT out there for women had a peanut base to it. So these are important things to know. Please, your pharmacist could be your best friend. And what else would you like to tell our viewers that are out there and they don't know where to begin? So we went over a full set of labs with you or I to go over and get to the root cause.
Well, then the next step is going to be your nutrition, because you're doing that every day. And so when it comes to nutrition, you got to have a strategy, and the strategy can be based on a lot of different things. If you're trying to lose body fat, not weight, but body fat, then you need to understand how insulin works. So if you're
Yes.
overweight and you're not happy with how your weight looks, your body composition is not where it needs to be, you need to understand that you got to watch your sugar and carbohydrate intake. So let me give you an example of that. When you go to sleep, your insulin's going to drop because you're not eating. So that's good news. And so when your insulin drops, your body only runs on one energy system at a time. So when you're sleeping, they're going to use the fats because that's the energy system you're going to be using. And that's going to help rebuild cells. But when you wake up, that process is still going on. Now, if you do the SAD diet, the standard American diet, then what you're naturally going to do, if you're following most people, is you're going to have some carbohydrates, whether it's orange juice, whether it's a bagel, whether that's any kind of a bread or oatmeal or anything. As soon as you have those carbohydrates, 5 grams or more, that's going to initiate an insulin response. So once you initiate the insulin response, you shut off all fat burning at that point. You're not going to burn any fat. So the rest of your day, if you keep eating carbohydrates, is based on the quick energy of sugars and carbs. And if you're
Yeah.
doing high glycemic like type sugars and carbs, that's going to keep your insulin elevated all day long, which has you craving food a lot more as well. And so then you have these cravings that keep your energy up. So it's a very, very vicious cycle. And that's what people
I
need to
was just
understand.
it
Okay.
is. It's a vicious cycle. It just keeps repeating. What happens is if you don't eat, your sugars are low. Then you grab for quick, simple sugars like a candy, and then it spikes your sugar up, but then it drops it down, and then you feel the sugar low again, and you keep doing that. It's almost like people do with coffee, right? I'm tired. I have coffee. They get a spike of energy. It bottoms out. They have another coffee. It spikes them up and down. And I worked in endocrinology for a long time too, because I've been that licensed healthcare pro for over 30 years, and I would watch them. Dunkin' Donuts was next door. I'd watch them say, "Oh yeah, I'm watching what I eat." What are you watching the donut go in your mouth? They'd come in with a bag with 3 donuts, and it's important. And especially the diabetics that were using insulin, they would think, "Oh, my sugar's high. I'll just take more insulin. I'll just take more insulin." So the insulin's making them fatter, and then they're getting more hungry, and then they're eating quick, more simple sugars, and they're doing more insulin. And it was this vicious cycle that just needs to stop. So I think a good way is complex carbs, what comes out of the ground, what has eyes, Mother Nature. If they're going to have the carbs, it's better if it's fruit or vegetables and it's mixed with the protein, like maybe nuts or something like that.